Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Harrison's Garage. I'm Harrison, and today we're going to be installing some tow mirror lights. Alright, as I mentioned, we're going to be installing some tow mirror lights today. Now, why are we going to be doing this? Because I hate amber, and the running tow mirror lights, so I guess the running light on the tow mirrors, I should say, that come from the factory on the Ram are amber. I've already gone to Boost Auto to get the cab lights swapped over to white, and we're going to be doing the exact same thing here for these tow mirrors. I suppose tow mirror lights that come in this kit. Now again, this video is going to be sponsored by Boost Auto, just like the Boost Auto cab light video. So they have sent over, they were nice enough to send over the cab lights that match sort of the tow mirror lights that match the cab lights. So on the packing slip, I've got the tow mirror switchback lights, item number 297-4B-TXS-SBX. What that is the Switchback Sequential with the spotlight. What does that mean? Switchback is a white running light, turns amber when you turn the turn signal on. Sequential, when the turn signal comes on, it will sort of sequence out. I guess it will start on the inside and then work its way out towards the outside edge of the light. Now with the spotlight, the factory lights either come with a spotlight feature or they do not. Mine came with that, so I've got the exact replacement functionality in this light. So with that said, let's go ahead and come in close and take a look at what the package is. Okay, so what do you get in the box? You get your packing slip. You've got this Boost Auto magnet. Put that up on the pegboard wall. And their business card here. So check them out if you're not already on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So take a look at the lights here. Again, this is for the 23 plus 5th gen style Rams. Again, these are plug and play, so there's no wiring harnesses, no wiring plugs. You got the Boost Auto insignia in there, so it's clearly not a factory light. Definitely something they've designed in-house, made in America, which is something I'm really jazzed about on these Boost Auto products, is they're all made in America, they're all designed in America. Much nicer for me to be supporting an American company than a Chinese one. Again, these are the lights. Here is the switchback turn signal, and these are the spots. So I think factory you get 4 spotlights, they've got 5 built in here. But since it's plug and play, really there's not much to go over here other than get them installed. So we're going to run over to the truck next and start on that install procedure. All right, guys, so if you may, I don't know if you can see this, you might notice that the truck's been lifted. There's going to be a whole video dedicated to the lift, everything about it coming up, but we'll get to that in a different video. So go ahead and start on the install of these tow mirror lights. First thing you're going to do is want to disconnect the battery. If you have 2 batteries, disconnect them both. Just unhook the negative terminal, set it aside. To start on the install of the light itself, you want to start with your tow mirrors extended all the way. Once you've got them extended, it makes just pulling off this front shroud that much easier. Tools you're going to be needing for this install, I know Boost Auto has a video out saying use a flathead screwdriver. I would recommend a non-marring pry bar. If you use a flathead screwdriver, you are likely to mar up this front piece of plastic. Other than the flathead screwdriver, you're going to need a T10 and T15 Torx bit, drill or just a wrench, a crochet hook or some type of a hook, a pair of needle nose pliers, and that should be about it. First thing we're going to do is move these mirrors back up and away as much as you can. Get in here with a non-marring pry bar and get ready to probably tear up your fingers a little bit. This is definitely going to be the most difficult part of the install. You're going to try and work in as close as you can to where the motor mount meets the mirror itself and pry it loose. I was able to get in there with my fingers and pull off one of the plastic hooks with just my finger and work the rest around with the tool. Once you get the mirrors off, the rest of this is really pretty much a piece of cake. So I'm going to go ahead and try and work on this, speed you guys up, and come back with you once I've got the big piece of mirror work free. Okay, it didn't take too long. It was a little easier than it could have been. If you've done it once, it gets a little bit better than, say, the first time you're trying to figure out where the clips are. Next thing we're going to be doing is pulling out this harness here, this connector, these two connectors here, and on top here, this guy. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 from this big piece of glass. I'm going to try and get that done. Again, just speed through it. It's pretty obvious how to take these out. You might want to use a pair of needle nose for these two and use your finger to depress this bit just to keep from damaging anything. If you're unsure of how these all go back together, just take a picture and reference it later on. Okay, so I've gotten the glass work free. This connector, it's very easy to pop out. You just have to depress this black retaining clip. There you go. This black retaining clip here, and then press down on the clip inside and it just pops right out. These two, I would simply recommend pressing down where my thumb is while using a pair of needle nose to pry off the connectors. This one, you just lift up out of the retention harness area and just give it a good wiggle until it pops free. Okay, this next mirror is probably the hardest of the two mirrors to pull off mirror glass, just because there's very little room around it to work in. It's small, you don't get a lot of leverage that way, so don't get frustrated, take your time. If it's taking a little bit, just step away from it for a little bit, take a break and come back, because once you get the mirror off, the whole install goes pretty dang quick. So first thing I'm going to do is try and get this mirror off and come back with you once I've got that done. So what I recommend doing is, if you can get 1 or 2 clips popped free, then reach in behind here on the motor mount and push it the other direction, and then that'll give you some more room to work on the other side to try and get that side popped free as well. This is where I found a screwdriver can be useful to reach in here and try and pry some of the clip hooks loose off the back. Like so. Now we just have 1 clip to go. Okay, now that I've gotten the small piece of glass taken off, I just kind of wanted to show you up close what these look like. These are the hooks that we're trying to pry off. You can get 1 or 2 of them off on one side. Use a screwdriver with your added room to just push these hooks back and away, and they pop off pretty easily after that. Again, if you're having trouble, just step away for a minute, take your time, and they do come off. All right, our next step will be to remove this connector and this connector with a pair of needle nose pliers. You're going to want to take note of this being sort of the black one being on top, the brown wire being on the bottom. It doesn't really matter the reverse polarity, but if you have, obsessive compulsive disorder like I do, OCD, I just want to put them back the way I found them. So when you're doing this, again, I found that putting my thumb here to keep the, the mounting surface sort of uninterrupted, uninterfered with, helps when prying them loose. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys up on the tripod again, get this pried loose, and we'll then proceed to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove these two. Again, the black one goes on the bottom. Come in here with a pair of needle nose pliers and just work it free. It lifts off pretty easily. That's the first one. And next one, last one I suppose. There we go. So go ahead and set your glass aside. Okay, once you've gotten the glass removed, the next thing we're going to be doing is taking out 4 screws, T15 Torx bit screws that hold on this sort of front shroud. I'll go ahead and bring you guys around and show you what those look like. Okay, so there's 4 screws here. We're going to go ahead and remove these guys. Let's see, there's the first one. All right, the second one, top right here. Third one is bottom left. And the last one here is bottom right. Okay, once you've got that shroud sort of unscrewed, you can simply pull it back and off. Now you've got two harnesses to remove here. There are essentially this one, which will easily pop out, and then this one. Now, this is the camera. If you have a camera, it will be here. If you do not have a camera, obviously you won't have this. To remove the camera, you have this locking, I guess, catch tab, and then you have your compression locking tab. Obviously back this out of the way, press this down and then pull, camera will come right out. This tab very easily just comes undone if you lift up on this locking tab here and give it a quick tug. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those off, set the front shroud aside, and then meet back up with you once we're ready to start pulling off the sort of front half of the mirror. Okay, as you can see, I've got the front shroud removed. We'll next be removing 3 more screws. This one here, and way over here, kind of buried in there, that one. So let's go ahead and get those backed out. Okay, now once you've got that screw backed out, it's a matter of working this cover to the right and forward. You've got, it separates sort of here, and if we come around, you'll see that it's held in place by this front arm on the mirror. That's why we have to work it to the right and forward at the same time. So I'm going to set you back up on the tripod and speed through that. Okay, I'm now back over at the bench. I've got the light here. Taking this out is extremely simple. This is a T10 Torx bit now. Unlike the T15s over in the mirror, there's your 3 bolts, 1 on the right and 2 on the left. Go ahead and remove those, and then simply drop in your Boost Auto replacement light, like so, and then put the screws back. Once you've got that done, I will, once I have that done, I will meet you guys back over at the truck to get this one back installed. Okay, the first thing you'll want to do once you've gotten your light back installed is to reinstall the harness that powers the light. So that just clips in there pretty obviously in terms of direction. Make sure you've got that clip engaged. There you go. Next, you will want to ensure that these guys are not going to be in sort of impinged, and then make sure that all the other wires are tucked up and out the way as you go to slide this over. Again, be patient with this. It doesn't take too long. Just make sure you're not pinching any wires. Make sure you're not binding up anywhere. If you are, just figure out where it is and then work around that area. Okay, so that's looking good. I have all 4 screw holes lined up. None of my wires are pinched. They're all where they need to be. So I'm going to go ahead, grab the screwdriver, the T15 bit. Go ahead and put these 3 screws back in for this front plate, and then we can go ahead and start putting the front piece, sort of front of the mirror, back together once this front edge is screwed back on. Okay, so I've got the screws here. They just go in the first hole, top left. Let's see, I think middle left. And the last one is middle right. So that now has the plate in place. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 to go. Okay, the next thing you'll need to do is connect this front faceplate of the mirror to all the wires you just removed. The first one I like to start out with is the camera, if it's present, just because it's an easy connection to make. Again, this is going to just go back together, sort of reverse the way we took it off. I'm going to turn my light on just so I can see what I'm doing, and speed through this with you guys. Okay, easily enough, there's just those two. It's easily done, there's only the two connections here. The rest of these plug into the mirrors themselves. All right, so the penultimate step now is to simply screw on this front housing with the 4 remaining screws. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. Okay, now the final thing we'll want to do is simply reconnect the glass to all of these guys. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the bottom glass first, and we'll get that connected. Okay, so this is the bottom glass now. The black cable is the one that went on top from the factory, the way they had it done, so that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put the black one on the top one, brown one on the bottom, and once I've got that, I will just kind of show you as I put this back in place. It's very straightforward. Okay, I've got the 2 connections made. To put the actual glass back, I like to make sure that the motor, I suppose, is straight forward and not cocked one direction. It makes pushing this back on a little bit more easy, I guess a little bit easier. Make sure this top wire stays out of our way. Come in here with the glass, make sure it's lined up. And really there's no trick to this, it's very straightforward. You just push forward until you hear the clips engage, like so. And then now that it's engaged, you can give it a sort of a push to make sure that all the clips are engaged, that the motor's moving. So there we go. That's all the clips engaged on the bottom glass. The next thing we're going to do is make all 4 of these connections again on the top glass, and then put that back on in the exact same fashion. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. I will come back with you once I've got all these clips made and show you as I put the top glass back into position. Okay, I've got my connections made. Again, the black cable from the factory is on top. The brown one is beneath that, although I'm holding it upside down, so it looks like brown's on top. Run the green and silver cable all the way around, connect it there, and then this connection is self-explanatory. That connector only goes back together one direction. The next thing we'll want to do is take a look at these 4 metal prongs. They are sort of alignment prongs. They engage here, 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 and here. What we're going to be doing when we put this, sorry with the light there, put this mirror back, is to make sure that these alignment prongs are aligned with those areas in the housing here and on the bottom. Again, we're going to want to make sure this is sort of flush facing vertical. It's not cocked in any direction, as best we can tell. It'll just make pushing this back on that much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get this aligned with one hand, and I think this is really, so easy you can actually do this with one hand. I'm going to go ahead and just push real quick and get this one attached. So as you can tell, it is mounted to the motor. I'm able to rotate it with my hand. None of the clips are sort of clipping on anymore, which means they've all been attached and they're all engaged. So I'm going to go ahead, grab a towel, clean off the mirror, clean off the front of the tow mirror, clean off the glass, I should say, and then clean off the front. reconnect the batteries, spin the truck around, fire this up, and then test this out for y'all. Okay guys, I am up here in the truck, as you can see. I have not yet looked at these things. I have a feeling they're gonna be pretty sweet. I'm going to show you first what they look like without the spotlights, and then with a sneak peek of the lift there. There's a 3H controller for the Kelderman kit. I told you it was coming. Video for this guy on the Kelderman lift is going to be coming around shortly. Probably posted a few weeks after this video comes out live. So without further ado, let's go check these things out. As you can probably tell, I've got this thing pumped up pretty high just to help kind of show off these tow mirror lights. So here they are. Getting rid of that amber is looking really, really nice now. I've got the tow mirror lights plugged in or tied into the cab lights, headlights, and the fog lights. I am going to be doing a Baja Designs fog light to replace the factory one there in the future. But right now, it's looking really good as is. So these are the Boost Auto Parts cab lights, sequential switchback, and these are the Boost Auto sequential switchback in white, I guess by definition with switchback tow mirror lights. And again, fairly easy to install. I did the whole thing in about an hour and a half in my driveway in the dark while filming. Would have been quicker obviously if I hadn't filmed it. So here you go, and as you can see, it's really starting to come together with the lift and the lights all put in place like this. So jump in the truck, show you what it looks like with the spotlights. Come up close. You can kind of see here that, you know, these are the 5 spotlights. The factory light only has 4, and this is the switchback light, running light. Go ahead and throw on the spotlight controller. And here are the spotlights. It's a very, very bright white. I know it kind of almost looks a little bit orange on the running light compared to the spotlight in the camera, but it isn't. As you can kind of see, it's adjusting, and they both look quite white. Come in close. There you go. You've got your running light with the 5 spots beneath it. I think it would be cool if they improved upon anything to make this illuminate as well, the Boost Auto illuminate, but it is a really trick, kind of really nice OEM replacement. It looks OEM. You just have this subtle Boost Auto logo on the side to replace the Mopar one, and it's really, really, really nice. I'm super happy with how it came out. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the spotlight feature and just throw on this turn signal. Get an idea what the switchback looks like. Okay, so again, tying in the cab light switchback feature, not switchback, sequential feature. You'll see the 3 cab lights as well as the tow mirror light. It is all sequential. So go ahead and throw on, I don't need to do the other side. It's going to look the same, but I will throw on the hazards. And see how the hazards look. It'll be sort of a symmetrical sequence here. And there you go. So you got sequence cab lights, sequence tow mirror lights in amber, and I think it looks absolutely wonderful. All right, guys, I could not be happier with how these Boost Auto Parts sequential switchback tow mirror lights turned out on the Ram. It's really, really looking good, kind of coming together as my vision had intended. If you liked this video, enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, take a look at the cab light install video. I will put a link to that down below. And as always, stay tuned for more.